Alright guys, so I'm feeling a little bit sick, okay? I was sick this morning and I just took some medication right now so I can talk. But my voice may sound a little bit, sniffly and stuffy, and I might have to blow my nose midway of this video. So putting all of that aside, I really want you guys to understand something in regards to flow state. Flow state is earned, okay? I learned this from Janus. January is coming up, which is representing Janus, okay? January, Janus. And this new era, this new timeline that we're stepping into is going to be very, very potent. And it comes down to you detoxing, purging, and cleansing all the negativity that was in 2022, leaving that in the past, and then cleansing the energy of 2023, okay? Now, it's very, very important for you to understand that where am I? Where is my location? Okay, my locus of control, my internal locus of control. And when you find yourself, you get reattuned towards your own frequency. And this comes down to understanding how to protect yourself from negative energy long term, right? We're looking at the long term game. So that means drilling things. That means understanding your values, right? Honor, integrity, respect. These are classic values, that people love to talk about, discuss. Okay, courage, ambition. These kinds of things aren't talked about enough, I believe, okay? And they're so important, and we need to reframe and refocus our minds towards the more positive things, okay? When you are focusing more so on the positive rather than the negative thoughts in your mind, you're having a pretty decent protection, you could say, from these energies, these negative energies. If your negative thinking is higher than your positive thinking or your positive thoughts, you need to actively rewire it, re-entrain yourself, okay? This is why listening to subliminals, listening to affirmations, when your mind is in that fuzzy state where the subconscious is most active, you're giving yourself tasks to do, right? You're giving yourself a way that you're resetting the computer system, right? The nervous system. And by dysregulating, okay, we tend to be in fear. And when we are lying about something, it's oftentimes that we're scared of that thing. We're scared of being found out. We're scared that we're gonna get caught. So there's this underlying fear, right, that comes up in the back of your mind. This is really important to understand because you can't access flow state if you're just completely in that cortisol fear state. Of course, the adrenaline, noradrenaline, whatever you want to call it, that is still important and it can fuel you, right? Like adrenaline can still give you that edge, like that feeling of like, how a SWAT team checks the perimeter, right? It's kind of like that energy, right? It's just like everything is exactly where it should be. Everything is kind of seamlessly linking together. That's the flow. So all your thoughts, words, and actions are aligned. Everything is in that mental silence rather than a mental chatter, okay? If you have automatic negative thoughts all the time, you might be sinking deeper and deeper into a depression. And you've got to understand how to challenge the thought, question the thought, right? Be able to zoom out, be able to distance yourself from the thought, almost like looking at your thoughts like clouds in the sky, okay? Just letting them pass slowly, not really attaching to the thoughts, right? Not really being like, oh, this is exactly what it is. Like, let's say, for instance, I'll give you an example. Like, you're looking at a bunch of cars, right? Now, it's the brain's ability to zoom in on a bunch of cars and just be like, okay, there's a Rolls Royce, okay? And you focus only on the Rolls Royce because it's supposedly cooler, right, than the other cars. In your own mind, you've constructed a storyline for you why Rolls Royce is cooler. And so your mind immediately goes to that, right? It's your past conditioning that's made your mind so quick, impulsive, frantic, in a sense, okay? So what we're really trying to do is get to that gap or get to that space. And Viktor Frankl said this really well. Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space is the key to your freedom, okay? A beautiful quote, I probably paraphrase that, but such an amazing understanding, right? That immediately when something happens, we don't just react impulsively, but we actually give ourselves a couple of deep breaths, center ourselves, and then respond. And a lot of people, you know, they're living in this zombie-like autopilot state, so it's not even supportive towards what they're trying to create, okay? So their behaviors or thoughts or feelings or the body is being mistreated, okay? So it might make you feel good to stay in that lower vibrational energy, okay? Now, I changed around my mindset today. I took the medication, right? I'm drinking some OJ, really looking after myself right now. As I notice myself not feeling so well, you know, maybe it's an ascension flu, I don't know. Whatever it is, right? I need to get this problem of my sinuses sorted. That's also from being too much up in the mind, right? The headaches, the sinus issues, things like this. So I noticed that I have a lot of thoughts, and my thoughts are almost going at 100 miles per hour, like very, very fast, right? And I need to sort of, you know, when you in a rodeo, you sort of still hang on, but you go, or you go, whoa, boy, right? With a horse, sort of like that, right? It's kind of slowing down, braking, but it's like almost a galloping brake, right? Because I know by studying flow state, whatever goes up must come down. Okay, whatever goes up must come down. So you got to understand that if you're experiencing a very, very high elated state, let's say you're bypassing that, right? Using a lot of substances. Now, certain substances like, you know, Molly or these types of substances, they make you more attached to that kind of serotonin spike or that dopamine hit, right? And that keeps you in that negative spiral almost, in a sense. It's like it really messes with your auric field. I mean, I can't say this, you know, I have to say this theoretically because we still don't have that much research in terms of how auras function and how it works. But from the information that I do know, you got to understand, we say this in Primal Sutra, it's one of the very key basic things, which is sea salt soap, okay? Dead sea salt soap. And that soap is so powerful to cleanse and revitalize, okay? Exfoliate. This is important because a lot of the times, you know, we stress ourselves out, okay? Of course, you can understand the long term that your values are there, you have an ethical code of some sort, okay? Like, let's say your friends have partners or girlfriends, right? You don't go and start flirting with their girlfriends. Like, that's off code, right? That's completely off code. So if you start doing this kind of shadow behavior, manipulated behavior, behind the scenes, pulling the strings like the puppet master, trying to, you know, get the best outcome from all of this, you take away from the presence that can be accessed through the now, that organic flow state mastery where you just completely immerse yourself into the moment, right? It's going to take you actually away from that, because manipulation, right, and deception, these kinds of things, they're like used usually in strategical understandings, right? A logical chess move, this ability to try and change a situation, right? Trying to control a situation, whereas we need to actually let go of control and let what we can control be the focus. That's stoicism, right? And this is why I believe a lot of people nowadays, they're very, very prone to be, you know, sensitive towards different comments that are being made, okay? If you say something offensive, it doesn't have anything to do with you. But if you believe that it's true, then there's more shadow work to be done, right? So if someone says that, man, you're such a lazy dude, and you believe that, you're going to react to that. No, I'm not. What? Now, a person who's truly not lazy, he might just accept that, you know what I mean? He'll be like, I'm just on energy saving mode. Okay? I'm not lazy, man. I'm just tired today. Right? He'll have some way that he's non-reactive towards that comment. It's not the actual words of what you say, it's the vibe behind it. Right? So if someone's like, I can't believe you're doing that, you're a piece of shit, get the fuck on with your life, whatever they're saying, right? These hetero suggestions get an implant into our subconscious mind. So if you have one mantra that you tell yourself, like a really good one that I would say, and I say this to a lot of my clients, my high-end clients as well, everything to gain, nothing to lose, okay? When you're in this mentality of addition rather than subtraction, and things are being taken away from me, and this feeling of lack or victim mentality, then you're truly in that pocket, in that flow state, where you're able to take whatever the universe gives you and almost add your own value to it, right? Amplification. So you notice a lot of men nowadays, they talk about, the idea and concepts of alpha male, beta male, these kinds of words. The main difference, I would say, that you notice even in the animal kingdom or, in humans, irregardless, is, the beta male looks for excuses. He looks for things that are just, avoiding taking action in whichever many ways that he can. But an alpha just goes. It just moves. It's that energy of, fuck it, let's do it, right? Boom, that energy. Just moving forward into the direction of what you truly want and desire and wish to prefer for yourself, okay? So it's almost like your personality, but then amplify it, okay? Your original personality might just be at a certain level, right? Now, there's certain personalities that are very loud and boisterous. You don't need to be loud and boisterous to be alpha, right? You can be quiet, reserved. You can be a little bit more of like a sigma male like myself. And understand that you're not going to get drowned in this kind of meme culture, okay? A lot of the times I've noticed that young people, they get caught up with the labels that they're given, okay? Like Chad, Virgin, like these memes, right? And when you start to associate yourself with one of these characters, what tends to happen is your ego preservation mechanism, right, starts to create a distorted reality around which you're living, okay? Either blocking, like a lot of peak performers, they mention blocking people out of their lives, okay? Do you notice that? I just don't need anybody, it's lonely at the top. And these ideas are creating more isolation. They're not creating detox and cleanse and, revitalization or restoration. They're making you feel so goddamn scattered. And that's what you have to understand. You can't be the scattered shaman. You've got to be the savage shaman. You've got to be the one who shows up, who pushes through, who amplifies their personality traits, the different aspects of your personality that needs to be put out there for the world to hear and see. That's what's going to be truly optimal and important for you. Of course, you can also, follow the mainstream and do it like that, or you can follow the complete woo-woo path, and go there. But I think what's missing is effectiveness in spirituality. That's why we created Primal Sutra, okay? If you're interested, book a 15-minute free call. Go to primalsutra.com, press the little button on the top, just schedule it in. Quick 15-minute call. Make sure you're right for this path working. We'll teach you things like, how to tell if a crystal is true or false, right? I'll give you a few tips. One is like, if you burn it and you touch it, it stays warm. It doesn't go back to being cold, okay? That's one of them. But there's many other checks like this. So in any sense, we're full of this kind of information that we're getting, that we're optimizing, that we're healing with. And we've got to understand also how to make our lives the best possible way that we can, okay? We've got to really show up and earn this flow state by putting in the work. Okay, I think a lot of people in this generation, they don't understand that putting in the work is a huge aspect of flow state. And they end up being like these bliss junkies, as Stephen Collar calls them, right? Where they want the quick fix, they want the, shortcut, they want the magic pill, rather than putting in the reps and really going through that suffering and pain to create and crystallize and chip away at the character. And a good character is done little by little over time. Doesn't happen in a week, doesn't happen overnight, doesn't happen, really quickly. It's little by little, okay? Year after year, just chipping away at this character. Truly getting to your best self, truly getting to that version of you that you can be proud of as you look in the mirror. And you start to namaste to yourself in the mirror. You high-five yourself in the mirror. You give dabs to yourself in the mirror. You salute to yourself in the mirror. You get that self-image to be positive again. And that's the biggest protectiveness from bad people, okay? Now, you might have expected something like chant this thing or do this and hold your nose like this and then, do a little, put your japa beads over your head or some kind of a weird ritual like this. You don't have to make it that complicated, okay? Because it is the belief in the thought itself, in the negative thought, that is actually taking power and, taking over. But the same toxin, right, can be made into a medicine if you truly set your intentions on good intentions. No hidden agendas, but really pure intentions of helping the world and helping humanity. And that's what is going to give you this aura bubble of protection around you. Because do you think evil people will start hanging around you more? Right? No, you're just accessing the dark masculine, chaotic masculine, and you're just accessing it, right? You're not going to stay there. You're also a being of light, and what goes up must come down, so you got to descend to go up, and as you go up, you're going to descend. So it's important to understand this roller coaster ride that keeps happening, okay? Anyway, guys, cheers. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. That's the work ethic, man. Making a video even if I feel sniffly. Let's get it today. Os. Bam.